Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Corinna Jasienczyk, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Okay, today's edition is the September 29th, 2023 edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press. On the front page here, we have a picture of the Back 40. There was an event going on there this past weekend. It was an amazing turnout for the inaugural Fall Fever Youth Bike Race at the High Life Back 40 Multi-Use Trail Park in Neepawa. The event was staged on Saturday, September 23rd by the town of Neepawa and featured 35 participants. The races were split into under 11 and under 17 categories. And we have some advertising up here from Quartz Seeds, Nikki Free for some commercial lots, Kalbaki Seeds Limited, Troy Much has an ad on the front page, and the bottom here for the ad is by the Cam Cattle Company, wishing the Neepawa Titans a very prosperous year. Neepawa Terry Fox Run raises over $11,000 by Casper Werhan. The results are in for Neepawa's locally organized Terry Fox Run. Organizer Dr. Kelly Jasienczyk confirmed on September 25th that the annual fundraiser had another great year of community support. She says there were about 106 participants and we raised $11,303. It was a great response and we had a great day. With the walk being fully volunteer organized and donation driven, there are no bills to pay. This means that 100% of the proceeds are given directly to the cause. Dr. Jasienczyk adds, another great thing about the Terry Fox Run is that 80 to 85 cents per dollar goes to the actual research. However, the support received locally each year is also something that is personal for Dr. Jasienczyk, especially when it comes to participation from schools via their own in-school runs, thus educating younger generations about Terry Fox. And she says, I'm old enough to remember when he ran. I was 15 at the time. It's a strong memory for me. Although national numbers were not available yet at the time of interview, Dr. Jasienczyk noted that the total of funds raised since the nationwide cause began is sure to be getting close to the 1 billion mark. The national total prior to this year's runs was 850 million. And she adds here, I really look forward to next year, she enthused. And we have some pictures here. So the top picture is individuals of all ages walked, ran, and even made their way on wheels around Neepawa in support of the Terry Fox Run on September 17th. The day was favored by fair weather and made for a perfect time outdoors to enjoy ice cream at the local Dairy Queen, which served as the halfway point. And at the bottom in the middle here for the picture, following opening remarks by organizer Dr. Kelly Jasienczyk, the Neepawa Terry Fox Run officially began with the releasing of balloons. Some individuals also had tags stating a loved one they were walking or running for. And on the bottom left here, ready for a nice cool treat in the warming sun, walkers gladly accepted a dilly bar. The frozen treats were handed out to all by cancer survivor Jane McLaren. And in our looking back column over here, so the picture is 1973, Neepawa declared district fastball champs. And they have the members pictured here. And if you want to know their names or get a closer view of that, you can go to the paper, either online or pick up a paper copy. So 120, I'll do the disclaimer first. The information used each week in the Looking Back feature is directly taken from the original print copy of the Neepawa newspapers. Any errors or omissions from stories are the result of the original print. So 125 years ago, from the Wednesday, September 28th, 1898 issue, they have this. Acetylene gas plants are being put into business blocks in Carberry and Minnedosa. Work has begun on an addition to the rear of the Mathers block on Mountain Avenue. It is to provide additional space for the expanding business of Messrs. Stevenson and Clare, who purpose adding millinery to their other lines. When their premises are enlarged, this firm will have a most complete and well-arranged departmental store. An acetylene gas plant is to be put into the Lions store. It is rumored the Ludlow corner, now occupied by P. Mitchell, blacksmith, has or is about to change hands. 100 years ago, on September 28, 1923, alterations are being made at the CNR restaurant, whereby the comfort of patrons will be improved. Entrance will be at the corner instead of the west side. 75 years ago, on Thursday, September 30th, 1948, there was this. Isaac Urer, well-known farmer of the Spring Hill district, has just finished his 50th run of harvesting operations without a break. Mr. Urex is 79 years of age and was born in the township of Minder, Alberton County, Ontario, and came west to Manitoba in 1892. He bought his first machine, a case separator, in 1898 and secured a portable engine to run it from Bill McKinnon south of town. It was found that the engine did not have power enough to run the outfit, and so he returned and got a 20 horsepower case engine. He later bought a Garscott separator, which he had for 5 years, and then he purchased another case outfit, which he had for 17 years. This particular outfit cost Mr. Urex $5,100, and the dealer did not ask him for a single dollar down. He bought an Avery separator in 1929. 2 years ago, he purchased a Massey Harris 201, and the engine had an abundance of power. At one time, he went through 3,000 bushels by 8 o'clock. Mr. Urex has worked at one time threshing until 1 a.m. in the morning. He has stook threshold during the day and stack threshed during the evening. He has never done combining during his experience in operating a threshing outfit. Mr. and Mrs. Urex celebrated their golden wedding last December 28th, and Mr. Urex gives his wife a good deal of credit for his long continued success as a farmer in this district. 50 years ago, Thursday, September 27th, 1973. Bill Demery of Murray's Garage was chosen as this month's Clerk of the Month by Neepawa Rotary Club and was honored at the club's regular noon luncheon meeting last Friday. Dr. John Engentoff of National District 555 was present at the meeting and made the presentation to Mr. Demery. The governor spoke at the luncheon and also presented a past president's pin to Ivan Trail. Don Greenhall, 17-year-old son of Mr. and Mrs. Walter Greenlaw, annexed the 1973 Men's Club Championship at the Neepawa Golf and Country Club, which concluded Sunday. The NACI student, who has made fine progress with his golf game since taking up the popular Scottish sport, emerged as the winner of the final playoff Sunday morning, edging another fine junior age golfer, Rick Horn, by one stroke in the 18-hole medal play competition. The Neepawa Public Library recently marked its 5th anniversary. A branch of the Western Manitoba Regional Library, it was opened in August 1968. Since then, it has supplied thousands of books to Neepawa residents from its rotating library selections. Directors of Neepawa Gladstone Co-op signed a contract Monday of this week with Raymond Massey Construction Limited of Winnipeg for a major renovation of their Neepawa store. The present store on Mountain Avenue will be converted to a grocery supermarket at an estimated cost of $375,000. The project also includes an addition to the building extending 55 feet further north and a second story. Neepawa Fastball team was recently declared the champions of the District Fastball League and winners of the Hamilton Hotel Trophy after defeating Oberon in the semifinals and winning the final from Brookdale by default. 20 years ago, Monday, September 29th, 2003, Neepawa Spring Hill Farms hog processing plant was set to begin operations today after securing a $3 million loan from the province. Minnedosa's Mediplan Health Consulting Inc. is in the running for Ernst & Young's 2003 Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And at the Roxy Theatre this weekend, showtime at 7:30 is playing the My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. The following weekend, October 6th to 7th, will be closed for the Thanksgiving weekend. And on NACTV, highlights of the coming week will include Coffee Chat with Lisa Milligan, Newcomers Coat Room, and the Terry Fox Run. And you can find the full schedule at nactv.tv/listing. The Bigger Bingo, which is live Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., now has over 16,000 in their largest jackpot. And on the right-hand side here, we've got an Expressions concert series for the 2023-2024 season. It's presented by the Minnedosa Performing Arts Committee. They are planning on having Jake Vaudelan and the Sturgeon River Boys on October 13th. Buzz Brass, a presentation of Prairie Debut on November 24th. Nora Defour on January 30th. And from MTC, Mixtapes from My Mom on the February 23rd. For more information, you can check the newspaper's ad here. They have a website to go to book tickets. Okay, some perspectives here. First, the cartoon. And the guy is saying here, my client has agreed to pose for your photos on the condition he retains the rights for all commercial and non-commercial purposes, including but not limited to reproductions used in advertising and media publicity, etc., etc. All these photographers are waiting to take a picture of the bird, and somebody pops up to say that. Ken Waddell's piece here is called Election Looming, and he writes, October 3rd is Manitoba Election Day. Most predictions are calling for a very close election. Close in that the number of seats for each party may be a lot closer than the last couple of elections, but in some ridings the results won't be very close. In some they will be quite close. In next week's column, I will try to bring over 60 years of experience observing elections to the column, so maybe younger people can avoid some of the mistakes I made and the others have made. Those quite close ridings or electoral districts are where the overall election victory will be won or lost. Many observers say that about 12 ridings will be the real battleground, and they may well be right. On the technical side of things, my wife and I have seen most aspects of elections. Between the two of us, we have run in one school board race, one provincial leadership race, 4 provincial MLA nomination races, 2 provincial elections, 1 federal nomination race, worked on or managed a dozen or so campaigns, and 4 town council races. Until now, our experience has been that the voters' lists have been a disaster and the number of foul-ups have been atrocious. I don't know if it has been lack of experience, lack of funds, or just plain laziness, but electoral lists have been observed to be really bad at municipal, provincial, and federal level. This year's Manitoba election looks like Elections Manitoba, the non-partisan body that runs the province's elections, may have made some considerable advances. The voter lists seem to be pretty good, at least when we went to the advanced poll on September 23rd. There is still sometimes a problem of using street addresses compared to mailing addresses. In urban areas, they may be the same, but in rural areas, most people have a post office box number as mail is delivered there, not by home delivery. It's been a problem over the years to convince urban-based bureaucrats that mail doesn't usually get home delivery in rural towns and farms. Time will tell, but the new ballot looks promising. It's a whole sheet of paper, and you fill in a circle with a felt marker, rather than marking an X beside the chosen candidate's name. Once you have marked the ballot, you put it in a cardboard sleeve, and the voter observes while an elections worker drops it into a ballot box. It looks like counting won't be done by hand, but by machine. That should mean that counting may be a lot faster and less labor intensive. Knowing how machines work, I can see that close recounts might have to be done by hand. Overall, I have to say I was impressed by the voting process based on the advanced poll experience, but we will see come Tuesday night if the whole process is an improvement. Then there is the age-old problem of voter apathy. Seeing as the last 120 years or so have seen some disastrous results from elections on many occasions, one would think that everybody would see the need to vote. Apparently not. I guess people don't realize that the worst tyrant in the last 100 years, Adolf Hitler, got elected in a democratic election because not enough people came out to vote against him. Elections are vitally important. It's often joked that if you don't vote, you can't complain about the results. It's more than a joke. It's a sad reality that people don't vote, and I don't understand why. Perhaps next week I can offer some reasons why people need to engage in the process. Not just voting, but the actual political process. Remember, if you don't get involved in politics, you are destined to be ruled by those who do. And Homebodies by Rita Friesen. Her title of her article today is Awesome. The book at my bedside is entitled The Book of Awesome, written by Neepawa Terry. One of the introductory sentences reminds me, little things, it turns out, are extremely important to happiness. The author has selected countless little things that enrich his life, bring a smile and a sense of contentment. Things like wearing underwear just out of the dryer, the smell of the coffee aisle in the grocery store, when there's ice cream left at the bottom of the cone. Little things that makes one smile. There's no doubt that this past month has caused me to pause and look for the awesome in each day. For those who are unaware of my sorrow, this month my cherished partner of the last 6 years passed away. It was tough. It is tough. I believe in living, and living with an attitude of gratitude. And so this book has refreshed my ability to look for and see these moments. I walked the dog in the fog. I felt the moisture condense on my jacket and face. I felt the density of the air and heard the change in the sounds of the train, the highway traffic, and the movement of my neighborhood at break of day. Good thing day breaks later than it did a month ago, or I could not have honestly said I was a dog walker at daybreak. I was thankful for the dog that was so fortuitously gifted to me. In that moment, I was present to the air I breathed and sensed anew the presence of the divine. Awesome. I slowed with a cup of freshly brewed coffee. So often it is simply an energy drink, a grab and go. This particular morning, I was thankful for the gift of the French press coffee maker, given by a friend after she became exasperated with the one I was making do with. It is simply a coffee press, but in that moment it was a warm hug from someone who cannot be physically present, but is so supportive. The coffee was enjoyed on a lawn chair, another gift, on the front deck, surrounded by red geraniums. In that moment, for that moment, I was present to the love and support that surrounds me. The strong coffee didn't hurt either. Awesome. As is my custom, the first Sunday that I began anew as simply me, I attended the Sunday morning worship service at the house of worship of my choice. I was blessed that the service included the baptism of 2 youngsters, and their lively participation was exactly what I needed. The church is a place for young and old, for silence and action, for moments of peace and moments of challenge. The power of the hymns, the words of the hymns, the handshakes and hugs was magnified in my time of vulnerability. It had taken strength and courage to dress and exit the safety of my home, but it was worth it. In that moment, for that moment, I was present to the church at work, a body of believers comforting and encouraging. Awesome. Okay, in Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroktion. It's titled Finding Meaning in the Mundane. Since getting together, my wife and I have been parents to 3 canine kids, dogs. In that time, we have learned one important lesson. Dogs have much in common with the people whose homes they share. Every dog is unique, with a unique personality and its own set of habits, some good, some that can be quite annoying. Our current canine kid is a mixed breed named Kia. She was 3 years old when she joined our family. She will celebrate her 10th birthday in a few days. From the moment she first set foot on our property, Kia let it be known that she was in charge and that she had a list of rules that we had to follow. For example, meals must be served at set times each day. Cats, squirrels, and birds are not permitted anywhere near our house or yard, and she must receive at least one car ride around town per day. Like all pet owners, we have rules that we expect Kia to follow. She follows them, if and when it suits her. But she can be a very strong-willed dog at times, and that can produce some interesting and at times quite loud confrontations. That being said, I must stress that we love her dearly and can't imagine life without her. She keeps us on our toes and provides us with many hours of comic relief that make each day a joy to live. Kia's routine is the same every day. She doesn't think about tomorrow or the days ahead. She doesn't set long-term goals. She lives from day to day. Her human parents live from week to week. From September through June, our weeks are filled with recurring appointments for my wife and a to-do list that requires me to complete the same tasks for the same people at the same times each week. There are times when I throw up my hands in frustration and say, I do the same things each week. Is it worth the effort? Can I find meaning in the mundane parts of my existence, following the same routines, doing the same things all the time? Part of my answer came from last Sunday's Old Testament reading, chapter 4 in the story of the prophet Jonah. After a well-documented struggle with God, Jonah makes his way to the Assyrian city of Nineveh. He preaches one sermon. It's not that long, and he may not have been all that excited to give it, but the results exceed all expectation. The entire city, estimated population of 600,000, shuts down. They stop eating, they stop drinking, they don't feed their children or their animals. Instead, they cry to Jonah's God for mercy. Their cries are heard, the mercy they sought is granted. Their sins are forgiven. Their city and its people, 120,000 of which are infants and toddlers, are spared. Eventually, the Assyrians invaded Jonah's land and enslaved its people. But while they were punished for their sins, the land on which they lived was treated with respect. Who made sure this happened? Those whose lives were spared when Jonah visited Nineveh. Subsequent empires, Babylon, Greece, and Rome, followed Assyria's example. Jonah preached one sermon. Its impact lasted for hundreds of years. Never underestimate the value of what you are doing. It may seem routine and mundane to you, but God knows how important your work is and how much impact it's having today and will have in the days to come. And one day, he will tell you everything he knows. Okay, down on the bottom here on this same page, we have the Glory Years Community Churches. And it's from the Gladstone's Glory Years series. The top photo is the Baptist Church in Gladstone, year unknown. It was located at the corner of Cameron and Broadfoot. In the picture below, it's the Methodist Church as it appeared in Gladstone around 1907. And the thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up to the folks who made donations to the recent Lions Lifeline. Also to Doug Bednarchuk from Austin, who did an awesome job of painting the Stony Creek School in Riverbend Park. Thanks to Casper Feuerhahn for the September 22nd Banner and Press article by Dan Chubby. And Rita Friesen gives a thumbs up. For the span of 1 month, I had the opportunity to observe some of the work of the staff at the Neepawa Hospital. It is never ending, often critical and crucial, and too often underappreciated. I was always treated with respect and concern. My wishes and needs addressed as promptly as possible by all levels of care providers. Perhaps it is because I have not ever been a stellar cook, but there were no meals that we could not enjoy. As we progressed to palliative care, we appreciated Mary Ellen's dedicated team, never disappointed with their demeanor and care. Thumbs up to the entire staff of our hospital. Okay, and then we have a letter by Fred Tate of Rosendale, Manitoba, titled Freest Country on Earth. In the September 1st issue of the Banner and Press, I reminded readers that our MP, Dan Masier, promised a Conservative government led by Pierre Poilievre would make Canada the freest country on earth, while failing to name the country that currently holds that title. I reported writing Dan Masier requesting he identify the country that Canada must replace in our endeavor to becoming the title holder of the freest country on earth. Dan Masier's reply demonstrated his political culture prowess of never answering a direct question. Instead of naming the country he identified as the freest country on earth, he provided me with a copy of an article published in the National Post, January 26, 2023, referring to a 2022 joint study conducted by the Fraser Institute and the US-based Cato Institute. The authors of the study concluded that at the time, Switzerland was the freest country on earth. The government of Switzerland has gained international recognition for its commitment to making its banking sector the recipient of hot money. Money stolen from the treasuries of third world countries, tax avoidance schemes, and numerous other fraudulent enterprises. During the Conservative leadership campaign, Pierre Poilievre offered that as Canada's Prime Minister, he would fire the current Governor of the Bank of Canada and urge Canadians to invest their savings in Bitcoin. Since that time, Bitcoin has been exposed as a fraud. However, in their endeavor to make Canada the freest country on earth, would a Masier-Poilievre government consider amending Canada's banking regulations to allow Canadian banks to compete with Swiss banks in providing a safe haven for hot money? Conservatives view tax evasion as a virtue and not as a crime. White-collar crime is seldom an issue with Conservatives unless it has liberal connections. To draw public attention away from tax schemes involving the theft of money from the public treasury, Conservatives focus public attention upon property crimes of the underclass, regurgitating tough-on-crime rhetoric while at the same time utilizing every available means to avoid paying taxes needed to fund prisons, enhanced law enforcement, and rehabilitation programs. Property crime and tax cuts have proven to be invaluable political asset to every Conservative election campaign. Dan Masier has provided ample notice to his constituents that he, as an active partner in a future Poilievre government, will introduce massive changes in Canada's social, regulatory, and economic order, while refusing all requests to provide details regarding the pending changes that they plan to implement in making Canada the freest country on earth. This catchphrase is very close to Donald Trump's "Make America Great Again." I find the similarity frightening. And remember, that's an opinion piece. Okay, Helen Drysdale out of Helen's Kitchen. She's got garlic on the menu today. And let's read a little bit about what she says about garlic. The benefits of garlic have been praised through the ages. Once believed to be a cure for almost any ailment, there is evidence that garlic reduces blood pressure, lowers LDL cholesterol, and may prevent a buildup of cholesterol within the arteries. The first Olympic athletes in ancient Greece were given raw garlic to eat, possibly the earliest example of performance-enhancing drugs used in sports. Raw garlic has been recognized as having antibiotic properties. The notion of eating raw garlic is not appealing, as the smell will not only keep the vampires at bay, but everyone else at bay. My mother loved a fresh garlic sandwich, just as her father did, much to my dad's displeasure. Garlic steeped in alcohol or vinegar and honey is believed to be beneficial to those suffering from bronchitis and asthma. For my dad's asthma cough, he used a spoonful of his remedy, which was garlic cloves in a small bottle of gin and kept on the windowsill to cure. We kids loved the face he made when taking his medicine. The remedy to remove corns was to tape a slice of garlic over the corn and replace it every day until the corn fell off. Garlic does not cure baldness as was once believed. However, it takes a starring role in so many soups, stews, main dishes, salads, and more. No kitchen should be without fresh garlic. If possible, stick to fresh garlic, as the jarred, diced garlic does not have the same assertive flavor as fresh garlic does. Fresh garlic doesn't easily stick to foods, no matter how finely you mince it, so garlic powder works well in recipes such as spice rubs. Keep the bulb intact for as long as possible. Once you start peeling, your garlic's lifespan decreases much more rapidly. Store whole heads of garlic or unpeeled garlic cloves in a cool, dry place in a vessel with good airflow, or in a mesh bag in your pantry or on your counter out of the sun. Garlic freezes well. Place the heads or cloves into a freezer-safe bag, label and date. It's just that easy. And then she's got 3 recipes here for garlic, so if you'd like to check that out by going to the website and reading the paper or picking up a copy of your own, it's there for you. Okay, an article by Ian Devereaux titled Tainted Recycling Not Accepted. Contractor can begin rejecting recycling deemed contaminated. A crackdown is coming to Neepawa that should have some homeowners doing a better job of reviewing their recycling habits. In his latest update to Town Council, Manager of Operations Dennis Seke noted that there have been a few issues reported to them in connection to non-recyclables being found in the blue bins. Examples of these items are coffee cups, rice bags, plastic bags, and black garbage bags. Once those types of garbage are found, the entire load can be declared as contaminated and cannot be recycled. Saket said as a result of this, they must take a firmer stance against the problem. We've instructed our garbage and recycling contractor to be firmer with residents. So if they see any recycling sticking out of your cart that's deemed to be contaminated, they're leaving it and those items will be reported back to us. Evergreen Environmental Technologies is also cracking down on their partners, which could result in some fines for cross-contaminated loads. So we would be going back to the end user that supplied those contaminants. Aside from the items discussed at the council meeting, some of the other items that cannot be recycled, according to provincial regulations, are straws, coffee pods, disposable coffee cups and lids, that is, Tim Hortons and McDonald's, styrofoam, clothing and textiles, aluminum foil and plates, and plastic pouches and laminates, such as chip bags. Okay, another article by Ian Devereaux titled Lending a Helping Hand Goes Digital. New online volunteer database established in Neepawa. There's a brand new and easy way to lend your support to some worthy community causes. Recently, a new general volunteer application process was established on the Town of Neepawa's website. The project has been in the works for quite some time through the efforts of the Environmental Health and Volunteerism Committee. Town Councillor Jason Nadeau, who also serves as the chairperson for the committee, said this is an attempt to simplify the process for people who want to help their community but are unsure of where to begin. He says this here is going to make the process a little more streamlined. This application form that you would fill out, it'll be on our social media right away. It will show you the link on our town website and create a little bit of a database that will establish what individuals in our community would like to volunteer in different areas. Here it allows our volunteers to address what some of their strengths are and what areas and what times of the year they are able to help out. Once the application is filled out, it will be linked to the database, which will assist the town staff to link the volunteers with the different work they'd like to do to help make a difference in their community. A link to the database is currently accessible on the Town of Neepawa's social media. As well, for those who are perhaps not so technologically inclined, a physical copy of the application will be available at the town office. It can then be filled out and returned to the town, who will then be able to put the information into the database. We have an ad here with Neepawa Tax and Bookkeeping. The Farmers Advocates being advertised for the September 29th, October 27th, November 24th edition. And Manitoba Efficiency Manitoba with new windows, doors, and so much more with rebates available. You can check that out at their efficiencymanitoba.ca website. The Gladstone Market Report by Tyler Slawinski. Shorter days, not knowing how to dress for the weather, and noticing the cows came home on their own is a good indication the fall run has begun. We traded 1,220 cattle through the ring in Gladstone on September 26th. Strong prices are still holding steady as the yearling run is starting to taper off and the markets are starting to fill with first cut calves right off the cow. For the most part, the market was very powerful, seemingly steady in every weight class this week. The market saw an abundance of top-notch, good quality yearlings, wet-nosed calves, and a smaller representation of slaughter cows and bulls. Feeder cattle are very strong, and I believe we are starting to see the premiums on top-notch first-cut cattle as the numbers are now available to start filling trucks and pens. Cows and bulls traded consistently in today's market, although the market is trying to be lower as barbecue season is slowing down and higher numbers are being marketed across the prairies. We saw cows trading between 120 and 130 with sales to 135. Bulls also very steady to last week, ranging between 155 to 170 with sales to 178.5. The cattle marketing outlook looks both promising and exciting. All classes of cattle sold well. Plainer type cattle are still being discontinued. Some highlights from the sale. Mixed steers weighed 357 pounds and they brought a whopping $5.19 per pound. Red-hided steers weighed 420 and they brought $5.11. And there's a few other fares if you are interested in reading that as well. Cattle producers, just a reminder to book your cattle in early. Thank you for being a part of our industry. And on the right-hand side at the top here, we have some pictures. It's crafts galore at Margaret Lawrence Home Fall Crafts Sale. The Margaret Lawrence Home's annual Fall Crafts Sale got underway on September 23rd. There were a variety of homemade goods on sale, such as crochet pieces by Tracy Fenty above, and pottery, paintings, and more from an assortment of vendors. Okay, I have an article title here, Lucky to Have Such an Amazing Community. Walk With Us campaign welcomes new faces, raises nearly $2,800 in support of the Manitoba Down Syndrome Society by Casper Weirhahn. It was another good year for the 2023 edition of the Walk With Us campaign. The annual event kicked off at the Langford Walking Trails on Sunday, September 24th, boasting a healthy turnout despite the rainy fall weather. Over 50 participants, including the many youngsters accompanying their families and some four-legged friends, were in attendance that day. Jackets, hoodies, and walking shoes ready, all enjoyed a scenic walk through the trails to show their support. Following the walk, all were welcome to enjoy hot dogs, chips, and refreshments while enjoying the good company. The barbecue was sponsored by Safeway, Giant Tiger, and Neepawa Gladstone Co-op. And Maureen Cox says, the family, my son Will and his wife Brandy, is very pleased with the results. Today was the last day for donations and we raised a total of $2,775 for the Manitoba Down Syndrome Society. Will and Brandy began organizing the annual fundraising campaign after their son Logan was born with Down syndrome 4 years ago. A cause near and dear to their hearts, they had this to say to the community and area's continued support. It's always such a great turnout year after year. We are lucky to have such an amazing community rallying alongside us and Logan. The Cox family was also happy to make note of some new participants this year, including a family who also has a child with Down syndrome. They were really impressed by the support shown and glad to hear of the supports available, said Maureen. The family mentioned is that of Anne Valora. Valora told the Neepawa Banner and Press that she joined for her son, currently aged 1 year and 8 months. Valora says, my purpose to join was to learn more about it. It's new to me and it was so great to have that welcome. I've promised myself too that I would participate every year and to be an advocate alongside the family. Valora added, I really am so grateful and thankful to the community for welcoming us, and we have a support network. It can be overwhelming because it's new and you don't know what to do. So it's so important to me to have that support group. Thanks is extended to all who aided in making the day successful. So the top picture here above, leading the charge, this youngster in blue runs ahead of the group at the Walk With Us fundraiser, taking them across the finish line at the Langford Trails. And pictured right, time to refresh. Everyone is treated to a post-walk snack. Okay, there's general business, Town of Carberry. Items of note from the September 12th council meeting. I will come back to that if we have time. If not, I'm afraid you'll have to look that one up on your own. Okay, so on the other side, a submitted article. Stride Credit Union Stars fundraiser at the Neepawa Golf and Country Club raises $20,000. Stride Credit Union is proud to announce that the Stars Shock Trauma Air Rescue Service received a $20,000 donation as a result of its first ever fundraising golf tournament. I am honored to present $20,000 to Stars through this fundraiser, At the heart of our decision lies a profound belief in the power of community, compassion, and collective action. We recognize the vital role STARS plays in saving lives and providing critical care in our communities, says CEO of Stride Credit Union, Brent Buds. The tournament was held at the picturesque Neepawa Golf and Country Club on Thursday, September 14th, with 92 golfers present. STARS is so grateful to our allies at Stride Credit Union for their support and are honored to be the recipient of the proceeds from this year's golf tournament. STARS was built by the community for the community, and Stride's commitment to STARS is a perfect example of that community support in action. Colleen Mayer, Director of Fundraising, Manitoba Foundation, STARS. And there is a little bit more here about the sponsors. And at the end here, STARS is a Canadian non-profit helicopter air ambulance organization funded by individual donors, service groups, corporate donors, and government contributions. In the 2021-22 year, they flew 773 missions, of which 26 were in the Neepawa area and 61 were in the Portage area, directly impacting our members. And you can donate to STARS online, and the website's in the paper. And at the bottom here, or this picture, Fueling Good in Gladstone. The Gladstone location for Neepawa Gladstone Co-op was hopping with activity last week for Fuel Good Day. In addition to 10 cents per liter of fuel sold that day, a barbecue fundraiser was held, and $1 from every cooperative coffee and big slush sold at the gas bar was also set to be donated. This year's beneficiary for the Gladstone-based facility is Little Pirates Children's Center, located in Plumas. At the time this info was received, a combined total for the Gladstone and Neepawa fundraisers was also reported to be $6,625. Further details regarding specifics for each location are set to be released at a later date. Now we have the Farmer's Advocate this week. Lower Yields Push Canola Production Down by Sean Quebec. Nationally, canola production is expected to fall by 7.1% to 17.4 million tons in 2023. The anticipated decrease in production is attributable to lower yields, which are expected to fall 9.8% to 35 bushels per acre, while harvested area is expected to increase to 21.9 million acres. And then it has a little bit more about Saskatchewan and Manitoba specifically. Grain corn, nationally, grain corn production is projected to increase by 2.7%. In Manitoba, production of corn for grain is expected to rise 12.8% because of higher anticipated harvested area. In soybeans across Canada, soybean production is projected to increase by 2.7%. In Manitoba, it's anticipated to increase 4.5%. Harvested area is expected to increase by 39.8%. In barley and oats, lower anticipated barley yields in 2023 compared with 2022 are projected to more than offset higher anticipated harvested area. As a result, barley production is expected to fall by 21.5%. Oat production is projected to fall by 53.4%, the lowest production in more than a decade. The decrease is attributable to lower harvested area and lower yields, which are expected to fall by 21.2% year over year to 77.1 bushels per acre. Okay, Canadian fall crop production estimates by Sean Quebec. In 2023, Canadian farmers are projected to produce more grain corn and soybeans, but less wheat, canola, barley, and oats compared with 2022, according to recent yield model estimates using satellite imagery and agroclimatic data. Decreased production for most crops was driven by lower yields related to dry conditions in Western Canada. Nationally, wheat production is projected to decrease by 13.1% year over year to 29.8 million tons in 2023. The decrease is attributable to lower yields, which are expected to fall by 17.6% because of dry conditions across the prairies, offsetting higher anticipated harvested area. The anticipated decrease in total wheat production is largely attributable to spring wheat, which is expected to fall by 12.4%. And we also have some ads here from Co-op, Canpresso Canadian Camblina Oil, and DMW Repair. On the other page, we have some pictures, 2 are ads. One is just a picture of harvest time. This sunny scene was pictured during a previous harvest. The photos by Jody Baker Photography. A Sunrise Credit Union ad, as well as another Co-op ad here for their card lock. The bike races in Neepawa, these are the results from the High Life Back 40, where they had the under 11 and under 17 races. They have a couple of pictures here with the sign. Okay, a couple of pictures here with the sign. And we have a couple ads here. Cafe 37, downtown Calwood, is open Sunday, October 1st from 12 to 2 p.m., as well as other dates. Taylor Law Patterson's. And Westman Communications Group is looking for more board directors with their nominations now open. NACTV is also looking for board members. If you're interested, give the station a call, please, and we'll add your name. Our meeting's November 2nd. And then in sports, the Titans win home opener over Portage. LeBreau saves 34 shots to collect win for Neepawa. By Ian Devereaux. A quick start on offense, combined with a figurative brick wall playing for them between the pipes, powered the Neepawa Titans to a 3-1 win against the Portage Terriers on Saturday, September 23rd. In their MJHL regular season home opener, Neepawa jumped out to early 2.0 2-0 lead with goals from Ty Shell and Connor Thompson. Both those goals were within the first 7 minutes and 52 seconds of the opening period, stunning the Terriers bench and thrilling all the 557 fans in attendance, with the exception of a few dozen Portage faithful that were on hand, that is. After an even back and forth to close out the first, Portage came out in the second period with all guns blazing, searching for that first goal of the night. Goaltender Mason LeBreau came through, however, with a dialed-in effort, keeping the Terriers off the stat line. As for Neepawa, they would add to their lead with 5 minutes and 39 seconds left in the period, off a Mason Hartley goal, his second of the season. For the third period, the Terriers swarmed the Titans' defensive zone, throwing everything they had at goal. One of those chances included a puck that barely stayed out of the back of the net, due to an acrobatic stop by LeBreau. Near the midpoint of the period, former Titan Parker Corman scored 1 on his old team to make it 3-1. That had the Neepawa fans feeling a bit nervous, with just under 9 minutes left in regulation. Fortunately, LeBreau and the rest of the Titans were able to withstand the pressure and close out the evening with a well-earned win, their first of the year, after falling 4-1 the previous night in Waiwaisaikapo against the Wolverines. Mason LeBreau earned the first star of the game for his 34-save performance, with teammates Mason Hartley and Ty Shell picking up the second and third star accolades. Okay. After the game, LeBreau told the Banner and Press that a win like that just isn't about one player's effort. The defense did a really good job of clearing the lanes, making sure I had a good view of what was coming in from the outside and letting me see everything, so it wasn't too tough for me, said LeBreau. Titans head coach, general manager Ken Pearson, said the team's early goals, combined with LeBreau's play, sparked some confidence for the players. He added the coaching staff had mentioned to the players beforehand the importance of a quick start against a club such as the Terriers. Pearson added the leadership on the bench kept everyone focused, making sure they finished the job. A consistent 60 minutes of pressure powered the... This is a tough loss to Verdun. A consistent 60 minutes of pressure powered the Verdun Oil Capitals to a 7-3 win in Neepawa over the Titans on Tuesday, September 26th. The Oil Caps scored a pair of goals in the first and second period, then closed out the third with 3 more to secure their first win for the regular season. As for the Titans, Mason Hartley scored twice for Neepawa, while Connor Thompson contributed the other goal. This loss dropped Neepawa's record to 1-2-0 for the season. The Titans will have a chance to get back into the win column this weekend with a pair of games in Winnipeg. They will play the Blues on Friday, September 29th, and then follow that up with a game versus the Freeze on September 30th. Both contests will be at the Hockey for All Centre near Headingley. And then there's the MJHL standings with game results. I believe it was mentioned in the article itself, but just in case I didn't, can't remember. On Friday, September 22nd, Wayway was 4-1 Neepawa. On Saturday, September 23rd, Portage 3-1 Neepawa. And September 26th, Verdun 7-3 Neepawa. There's some bowling results for the Club 55 members. Neepawa Titans Junior A hockey team, their regular season home games. So October 7th at 7:30 p.m. they'll versus Niverville. On October 10th at 7:30 they'll be playing against Swan Valley. And October 13th at 7:30 it's against Wayway Sikapo. And then we have an ad for Valley Optical. And in sports, continuing in sports, Whitey's Fitness takes it to the next level. About a dozen members of Whitey's Fitness Body Shop in Neepawa competed at the Next Level Games in Winnipeg on Saturday, September 23rd, with 3 of our local athletes participating in the competition for the very first time. As for the competitive portion of the day, there were 3 teams from Whitey's that finished on the podium. In the intermediate women's division, they won that with a combined 585 points. In the intermediate men's division, they placed 3rd with a combined 520 points. And in the intermediate men's master division, they claimed 3rd prize with a 550 point effort. Congratulations to those teams, as well as all the other Whitey's Fitness members who competed at this event. And we have Efficiency Manitoba has another ad here talking about how a heat pump can save you on hydro costs. Optometrist Dr. R.P. Ashcroft, Dr. K. Vander Heiden, and Dr. J. Mills have an ad. The Plumas Sales and Service is in here. And now into our classifieds here. We have a few obituaries today. We have Harvey Rowland, who passed away on September 17th at the age of 78. Arrangements were entrusted to Interlake Cremation and Memorial Services. And Harvey's family and many friends are invited to visit his memorial page at www.interlakecremation.ca to view a longer tribute and share memories and condolences. Gordon Edward Lewandowski passed away on September 19th, 2023. And Beverly Ann Palisnik passed away on September 12th, 2023. A celebration of Bev's life was held on Friday, September 22nd at 2 p.m. at the Knox United Church in McCreary. Should friends so desire, please consider remembering Bev by making a donation to the Salvation Army at 342 Mountain Avenue, Neepawa. Grant Walter, also known as Red Rees, passed away suddenly but peacefully on Saturday, September 9th, 2023, at the age of 78, with his wife Dallas by his side. A private service took place with interment at Gladstone Cemetery. Raymond David Smith passed away on September 28th, 2022. I guess that was a delayed announcement there. Coming events, Gladstone Auction Mart 60th Anniversary Open House on October 6th. There'll be coffee and donuts, a tour of the new pens, information session on show list and video sale platforms. And the White Mud Music Festival thanks a number of people for their generous support. And we have a services guide here with a number of different businesses letting us know about the services that they provide. Letter to the editor here, Outdoor Learning Classroom Explained by Donna Gork-Toderick, Executive Director. We would like to thank Jim Bennett for his interest in our early learning program and the condition of our outdoor learning classroom. We understand that our outdoor area may not be what people expect for an early learning center. We assure Mr. Bennett and other members of the community that the exploring and learning that take place in this space is second to none. In embracing recent environmental stewardship initiatives, we have chosen to have this area follow the philosophy from the Leave the Leaves to promote positive environmental impacts that children can participate in both at the center and home. In this type of learning environment, children benefit by learning to use their imagination. They are learning to communicate and they learn to cooperate with others and promote environmental stewardships. This area is fully accessible to all children with all abilities, and it embraces children of all abilities to investigate and explore their surroundings. As we live in a society where medical professionals are urging parents to unplug children from electronics for the child's mental health and physical well-being, it is great for our children at our center to use this parcel of land as a gateway of imagination and play. We would like it to be known that our Early Learning Center has been recognized by numerous professionals for providing exceptional care and learning opportunities to the children of this community. In closing, we thank you again for your concern, and we would encourage you to visit and spend time with children in this learning area and see how frequently it is utilized by our children. Neepawa Pharmacy and Harris Pharmacy will be closed Saturday, September 30th for the National Truth and Reconciliation Day. They will reopen Monday, October 2nd. And on that same note, Neepawa Ford, well, I guess it's not the same note, but anyways, Neepawa Ford will now be open Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And if you need ID to vote, all voters need ID to vote. You either need one piece of government-issued ID with your address or 2 other pieces of ID, including your voter information card. You can vote at any of the 300 advanced polling places in Manitoba during advanced voting. Advanced polls in all local election offices are open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, noon to 6 p.m. Sunday. And of course, the voting date is on October 3rd. For more information, electionsmanitoba.ca. And here we have NACI Soccer, host pair of weekend tournaments. Both the Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute soccer teams hosted separate tournaments on Saturday, September 23rd. The girls' squad finished in second place in the 4-team event, going 2-1 in the round robin. The Tigers defeated Swan Valley 5-0 and Stonewall 3-0. In the deciding game, however, Neepawa was bested by Morden in a close 1-0 game. As for the NACI Tigers Boys Soccer Club, they put in their best effort, but ended their weekend 0-3. Congratulations to both teams, their coaches, and supporters for putting together a great event. And we have a day on the trails for a picture. Fall is the perfect time of year to enjoy a hike on the Langford and Rosedale trails. With the turning of the season comes a change of colors in the leaves of bushes and trees, making for a rather scenic tour. The photo shown here was taken earlier this month. And we have a big ad to finish off the back page here from TIC Parts and Service, as well as Champions of the Truth. And last but not least here, Central Plains Cancer Services. Volunteer drivers are needed in your community. Central Plains Cancer Services volunteer drivers transport people from their community to and from major cancer centers in Manitoba for cancer-related medical appointments. They pay the mileage, cover the cost of parking, and will provide a meal for appointments lasting longer than 4 hours. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer driver, please call 204-857-6100 or email info@cpc, let's do it this way, at cpcancerservices.ca. And that concludes the paper for this week. If you'd like to pick up a actual copy, you can see those pictures a little bit clearer. And if there's something you want to go back to you asked yourself a question about, you can go back and review that. Thank you so much for listening to Read the News.